Hello everybody and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, where we are pretty much ready to do a couple of quick tests on this. We are not necessarily going to be testing fuel flow just yet, but we're going to be making sure that we actually have the ability to do this. We might have to swap the ore tank and the the convertitron, but I'm not sure if any of this is going to flow. So let's find out. Let's just go ahead and launch this. I want to make sure of a couple of things. First, that I realize we're not going to fly, but I'm going to fire the sky crane, and we're going to see if that is in fact going to work properly. So this decoupler will detach. That is fine. I'm not concerned about that decoupler. Okay. That worked perfectly. Let's revert that back then. So yeah, it seems like we needed to get our sky crane a little wider. Either that or it was just interacting with the monopropellant tanks in a really weird way. And we don't need more monopropellant, so we don't really need to know. Now I'm going to take this guy off of here at this point. I'm going to head on down here. We are, of course, very stable for right now. Gonna turn on the brakes. Incredibly stable. You can see as we're sitting that the convertitron is substantially heavier. So that's something we're gonna have to think about for a gravity turn, but it is in the correct location to give us a weight-induced gravity turn, if you will. But I'm just gonna go ahead and park this guy right over here for right now. And we're gonna test some of our flows. So first things first, we're going to deploy this drill. Now I fully expect that we're going to have substantial heat issues. We have no heat reduction at all here. So our core temperature is going to be a bit of a problem. We're going to go ahead and start the harvesters here, because the main thing that I want to know, yeah, we have ore flowing in. Fantastic. We should extend our solar panels, but for the purposes of this test, I'm going to go ahead and go into the cheat menu, and I'm going to turn on infinite electricity, just because we don't actually care about electricity generation right now. All we care about is making sure that the things are flowing correctly. And it does seem to be flowing into the ore tank. We are way overheating, so we are not going very rapidly, if you will. So we do obviously need some heat reduction. But let's go ahead and run the convertitrons here. We are wanting to produce liquid fuel and oxidizer. The oxidizer went in here. In fact, it's going evenly, it would appear. But again, we are overheating, so our thermal efficiency is going down. And of course, we're limited by how much ore we have because we're overheating here. But I just wanted to make sure that this is working fine. I'm going to go ahead and physics warp here. That was a bad idea. But yeah, the flow is working fine. So I'm going to go ahead and revert this back to vehicle assembly. And we now need to work on our thermals on this thing. So we obviously have a huge amount of heat being generated. So we need, as I accidentally tab out of the game instead of clicking on the thermal tab, we need to get ourselves some radiators. So the question is, how big is this system? Not huge, actually. So we can place that like right there for testing purposes. And then we can put one perhaps down here as well. Will it fit here? Yeah, I think it'll fit there. We'll put one here as well. We'll just snap it into place. Try to make sure we're as symmetrical as possible. That didn't rotate exactly the way I wanted it to, so I'll fix that as well. And we'll just scooch that back in a little bit, and maybe up. No, I think we're fine. Okay, this one. Did it rotate correctly? Well, that's kind of hard to tell at this angle. Kind of is the answer. Let's go ahead and move it back. There we go. And of course, both of these systems are going to take power. Let's go ahead and select this guy, scooch him in. That should be fine for now. Of course, this is going to skew us even more heavily towards having weight on this end. That's okay. If we look at our center of mass, you'll see we are a little bit off center in the forward direction. Hopefully we'll be able to compensate for that. If not, we'll have to come up with a plan, but it's something that's on the radar. So let's test this again and see if that is enough thermal dissipation. I don't think the efficiency of those radiators is changed based on the atmosphere. Of course, on Minmus there is no atmosphere, but I don't think that that'll change anything. Okay, onward we go. Let's hopefully not break all of our wheels. Okay, good enough. We broke half of our wheels, but we'll be fine. So let's go ahead and extend this radiator. Our core temperature here is 290 Kelvin, whereas our core temperature here is also 290 Kelvin, but we haven't we have activated the radiator. Hang on, I'm just going to pop open the cheat menu again and turn off infinite electricity and apparently take a screenshot. Yeah, we are draining a little bit of electric charge. I think it's the radiator that's doing it. We'll go ahead and extend that guy. And extend this guy. And our solar panels as well. There we go. We're not going to be getting any power flow from the solar panels, but that's fine. Let's go ahead and start our drill here. Yeah, it's sitting right at the peak efficiency. That is ideal. Hopefully it will stay there as we activate additional pieces here. Yep, that's perfect. And we haven't extended this one yet. But our ore tank is filling up. Ideal. We'll go ahead and make liquid fuel an oxidizer. And that should give us an infinite source of fuel. Oh, look at this. This one's cooling. This one's going over the temperature a little bit. That's interesting that this one's going down and this one's going up. I have to assume this one, yeah, it's missing ore. That's why it's going down. So if we were to turn this guy off, this one's still going up. Okay. And then it'll drop over time. But we are filling this up ever so slowly. And then I think we're fine to transfer it through these, because we've always been fine to transfer through the docking ports before. So I don't think we even really need testing on that. The major issue with this that I can foresee going forward is one of temperature, which these radiators aren't being super efficient up here. We might need to get a second radiator for these. And in fact, I'm going to go ahead and revert this back to the vehicle assembly building, and we're going to take a look at what a second radiator would be like for these guys. So I'll go ahead and place one there and one there. We'll snap them into position to make it as symmetrical as possible, like that. And I think that's good. We'll save that, and we'll try this one more time. Good old Kerbal R&D craft. But then, once we get this on Minmus, we will have an infinite source of fuel on Minmus, because while you can be at a better or worse mining position, the actual amount of ore that you get out of the large bodies is infinite. Not out of asteroids, but certainly out of the large bodies. I'm going to go ahead and toggle brakes here, so that hopefully we don't break our wheels this time. That was super awkward. Okay, we'll just come over here. And we'll go ahead and stop. And we'll deploy all the things. Technically, I could put all this in an action group, but I'm also lazy, so probably not happening right now. Now, with these extending out this direction, we're going to have to be careful with our positioning of this thing and make sure that it's positioned in such a way that it's not going to impact any other modules. That's something to think about. And also, these front solar panels are likely to be less effective because they're likely to be occluded by these thermal control systems at some point. Let's go ahead and deploy our drills. And we will go ahead and start them. If I can click on it. There we go. And they should go directly to 500 Kelvin and no higher, because these thermal control systems should be more than enough. And we are filling these two tanks evenly, which is ideal. And then we'll run these guys, and we'll see how they end up sitting. Missing ore over here is to be expected. This guy's still overheating at like exactly the same speed. That's interesting. I really thought with two radiators they wouldn't overheat. Huh. Okay. Well, I would like to let us accumulate ore for a while. I mean, we're not mining ore very quickly, right? So there's that. This is not a good place to mine ore. I don't know if where we landed is a good place to mine ore because I didn't bother looking, but because I'm not actually too concerned about mining ore efficiently. What I'm more concerned about is just having an infinite source of fuel for right now. We can always drive this thing wherever we want it to be. It's a standalone thing, right? So we don't have to move the whole base. We can move just this module if we decide we want to. But I'm just letting this fill up a little bit here. Once it gets to like 0.15 maybe, I'll let both of these run, but I'm not sure how much they actually take in per second. There are a couple of other ways we can do this, of course. This is a like combination, like this is an all-in-one fuel production module, right? This isn't just a mining module. We can make it more specialized, where it's just like a row of 6 of these Drill-O-Matic Juniors and just ore tanks, and then a different fuel production facility, and we could do things like that. For right now, I'd rather have an all-in-one up there, and then we can put up specialized modules later if we decide we want to, which we may or may not. But I'm going to go ahead and start this guy, 5% load. And he's already used up all the ore. But we can run these like alternately, or we can have it be fed by an additional pure mining module. That's another option. There are plenty of options, in fact. But we definitely don't want to fire the Sky Crane with this thing extended. That's pretty clear to me. I'm kind of interested to see what the cap temperature is here. Like, how high up is this going to go without any additional cooling? And it could be that the cooling ratio is just bad here? I don't know. You can see that the cooling percentage that the thermal control system is doing here is increasing. So yeah, I don't know how high up this is going to go, but it looks like this module is completely working. So I think our next plan is going to be getting this thing onto Minmus. That, however, is a job for another episode. I'm going to go ahead and put a cut in here, and next episode, this thing is going to Minmus. But first, we're probably going to do a bit of a redesign of our heavy lifter, because it's been having some issues with what we've been lifting lately. So that will be next episode. Subscribe for more, and I will see you all next time.